Apparently, I'm going to have to say this again to the rest of the world to explain what's happening. It's a very difficult thing, but I'm going to do my best to see if I can explain it. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff today. A lot of stuff. I've written more things down than you can imagine. Tim Scott's out, but he got that girlfriend. Oh, well. Phoniest business. You have no idea how that insults my intelligence. It's like, stop it. That's number one. We're going to talk about Bobby DeKay and how Bobby DeKay is going to basically turn over the election to Gavin Newsom because of October the 7th. Let me explain that to you. We're going to be talking about, again, the inability for the right to understand and grasp what's happening. I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen anybody ever. You see, when the right, whoever these people are, when the right doesn't understand something, it just doubles down. For example, I have always been saying that the Republicans in 2024 have to be able to play at least lip service to the notion, to the idea of climate change. They have to say something about climate change. They have to explain it. They have to address it. They have to do something to ameliorate, satisfy, placate, whatever, this radical left or this version of. Okay, fine. Okay, good. Now, when I bring this up to the right, to the conservatives, they will say, but there's no such thing as climate change. It's silly. It's like, you're missing the point. I'm not asking you whether you agree with it. I'm not asking you whether it makes sense. I'm not asking you whether there's any validity to it. What I'm asking you, again, is to pay attention to the reality of what we are talking about here. Does this make any sense to you? I don't know how to put it any other way. And the same thing is with Israel. I've never said, there was a wonderful piece. It was an argument with, not an argument, but I love, and I have loved, Victor Davis Hanson when he talks about history. It's wonderful. He goes on, there's this great interview with an Australian chap. It's terrific. And they're basically talking about how this anti-Israeli pro-Hamas stuff is crazy, how it doesn't make any sense. It's like that train has left the station. That's not the issue anymore. The issue is not that there is this explanation that would change the course of the anger and the frustration and this whether it's valid or not, this pro-Palestinian, anti-Israel, pro-Hamas, whatever you want to call it. Do you not understand what's happening? And apparently they don't. They don't get it. This is reality. What are you going to do with it? This is what they're saying. Imagine during World War II, somebody says, this anti-Semitism, this genocide talk is just nuts. And you think one day they're going to say, oh, you know what? I'm sorry. We didn't understand. That's what we're doing today. It's not about trying to explain. Who are you talking to? Professor Hanson, who exactly are you talking to? You're talking to the Fox News crowd, in essence. They agree with you. You shouldn't be talking to them. Talk to the people who are tearing down Israeli flags. Talk to the people who want violence. Talk to the people who are applauding Hamas. That's what you should be talking about. And two, we're going to be talking that and how Bobby Kennedy completely missed, opportunity changed, situations changed, and how apparently everybody's afraid to speak the truth. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams and new videos, and listen carefully to these important words from our sponsor. Dark clouds are gathering as markets shudder. Stocks are sinking, currency stumbling, fear and uncertainty reign. The Middle East, Ukraine, Taiwan, the debt, it's endless. Yet one asset stands firm, gold. In crisis after crisis, gold is there in the background. Its enduring value guards against loss, like a missile shield against incoming. While paper wealth burns, gold persists. Shield your savings against looming threats, war, recession, contagion, and avoid the frenzied panic of the unprepared. Take control in the chaos. Fortune favors decisive action. Get hold of gold now before it's out of reach. And right now, Noble Gold Investments offers a free 5-ounce America the Beautiful coin with every new IRA. Claim your free coin today to secure your financial future. As this new storm gathers, panic looms. And some of the places you were thinking of for your money, well, they don't look so clever anymore. Secure your future against disaster now. Open a Noble Gold Investments IRA and claim your free bullion coin today. Go to LionelNationGold.com. That's LionelNationGold.com. LionelNationGold.com, the only gold company I trust. And remember, there's always a risk of investment and there's no guarantee of any kind. Somewhere along the line, Americans forgot about politics. They just forgot about what works and what doesn't work. And they think that somehow being right is all that matters. That is, that if you're right, if you're correct, if you speak correctly as to something, that's all that matters. Everything is groovy. Everything is fine. You got that? Everything's fine. Don't worry about it. Just go on TV, go on Fox News and say, you know, these crazy pro-Hamas people, these kids today, they're just, you know, they're just, I mean, they're tearing down flags, and this is anti-Semitism, and it's wrong. Okay, did you clear that up? Yeah, you got that? Good. Thanks for helping us with that one. What do you think? What do you think this is? Explain this one to me. Explain this to me. How do you think this works? I don't even know what to say. Let's talk about Bobby Kennedy. How many of you great people believe that Bobby Kennedy is going to pull either from the... Well, let me ask you something. From whom will he pull, left or right? Who? Will his insurgency... I don't see him anywhere. I don't see any Bobby Kennedy anywhere. Nowhere. Nothing. Zero. You got that? Okay. Now think about this. Where do you think he is going to pull from? Our friend Eric says from the Dems. Okay. Who Bobby Kennedy is going to pull from this? Insidious says, why win the elections when you can complain? Well, you know, Sid, you're correct about that, because that's one of the mainstays, believe it or not, of Fox News. They do much, much better when they're complaining and bitching and moaning. Oh, that's an absolute fact. Republicans, he will pull more from the right. There is not enough Americans left in America. I don't see him running. He is running. What are you talking about? He's running. Somebody writes, I don't see him running. He's running. Where have you been? He's running. He's announced, I'm going to be independent. I don't see him running. He's running. What the hell does that mean? I don't really, huh? There's a long way to go. It's less than a year. That's an eye blink. Oh, my friends, my dear, dear friends. No, this should be wrapped up by now. This should be all downhill from this point. This is the most important. I don't know if let me see if I can explain this to you. Let me see if I can explain this, my friends. Bobby Kennedy had one thing. What the hell are these balloons and things? What is this? All of a sudden, things come out of nowhere. I have no idea. I don't touch anything. It's the weirdest thing. Anyway, what about Tim Scott voters? Oh, please. Tim Scott. He went ahead. He had like, okay, you're going to be my girlfriend. Yeah. Okay. Sign this. Yeah. You're going to be my girlfriend until, what's your name again? Oh, yeah. Until the end of the primary. Okay. Couple of things. Some shots. You're going to say, you know me. Okay. Sign this. It's just like with that football player and Taylor Swift. Okay. We're going to be after the Super Bowl. Okay. Up to the finals. And then we're going to sign this. Okay, good. They think they think we don't know these things. They think that we believe this. That, oh yeah, no, Tim Scott's he got a girlfriend. Okay, all right, righty. Now let's get back to business. Listen carefully. Before this happened, before October the 7th, what was it? Bobby Kennedy he was anti-vaxxer. Remember, that was a weird deal. I don't know. Who was it who was basically pro? He wasn't anti-vax. That's what he was called. You know what I'm saying? Who was it? Who was it, dear friends, that basically provided that? Who was it that provided that being resistant to vaccine and the like was somehow beneficial? Who was it? Who was that? That would have been the right. The people on the right, the conservatives, libertarians, those folks, you know what I mean? Those chaps, those were the ones. Those are the ones who basically spoke. Okay, you got it? So they like this. They like this Bobby. He thought he was pretty groovy. It's like, hey, this is great. We like what you're doing there, Bobby. Very, very, very good. Appreciate this. Very nice. Very good. Like what you're doing. Like this stuff. Yeah. Well, that was the right. That was a libertarian group. Those are the people who were anti-vaxxers. The left loved this. The left loves vaccines. The left loved. So in this respect, what was he doing? He was pulling basically and appealing towards the right, thus pulling people away from Trump. Jimmy Dore warned Bobby K about being too pro-Israel long before October the 7th. It fell on deaf ears. Jimmy also pointed out superdelegates would keep him from getting the Democratic nomination. Well, to Jimmy Dore's credit, that's why he's not not running for the Democrats. And he knows that superdelegates wouldn't do that. And as far as about being too pro-Israel, that's a good point. That's an obvious point. And what we must understand is this is precisely what my particular position has always been. And you've got to understand this. You see, Sparky, you bring up a very good point. And we'll see if we can explain this to you. See if we can explain this, which is very, very critical. Sparky also says, Lionel, I was inspired by your video encouraging nativity scenes, but I couldn't find 3 wise men and a virgin. That is an ethnic joke punchline. And you know what that means. Remember this? How do you know Santa Claus is blank? And you can fill in there whatever you want. Who else will wear a red suit? How do you know Santa Claus wasn't born in blank? They couldn't find 3 wise men and a virgin. These are classic. There are these jokes. One of my favorites. What do you get when you cross this with this? A car thief that can't drive. Hide his food stamps under his work boots. Wait a minute. What? There's all these jokes and you say, oh, I know who you're talking about. The joke's got to work. To make you an offer you won't understand. Oh, I know who that one is. Wasn't he denied Secret Service detail? Yes, he was. Now, here's the deal. And what Sparky is and Mr. Jimmy Dore says, which is correct. If I'm running for office, let me ask you something. I'm not worried about, basically, he's going straight for the general. Straight for the general. He's not going left and right because when you're independent, you don't have primaries. You're going straight for the general. You got to do general election the whole time. When you're right, when you're a Republican, you have to go right, very right, for the primaries. You got to be very right wing, right, that sort of thing. Okay, fine. And then later on, you swerve towards the middle as you go for the general. You see how that works? It's as old as time. It's tacking, they call it. Very, 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 very simple. It's called tacking. And all that tacking involves is very simply knowing what to say and what not to say. That's all. Very, very important. And there are some things that you may feel terrific. You may feel, I'm very interested in this. That's wonderful. Okay. But here's the problem. What do most people believe? What do most people believe? Most people do not believe in anything that you might find is interesting. Let me give you an example. Do you think it's a good idea for a person running for office? I know what you're going to say, because you're going to confuse that which you believe with that which makes sense. But do you think it's a good idea to talk about vaccine independent? No. People love vaccines. People need vaccines. People believe in vaccines. And if you come out too strongly against it, oh my God, you're wasting your time. Donna Lemo says, what are your thoughts on a Trump Tucker Carlson ticket? Is that even a possibility? I think the Dems would have a meltdown. Dumbest thing possible. Tucker Carlson is the biggest phony, the biggest theoretical. He wants to be a star. Tucker Carlson is a little boy who wants more than anything to be taken seriously, but he wants to fit in. And he is very, very attracted to very strong men. Men that are, well, he was on, who was it, Theo Vaughn? It was gushing. Did you see this? Did you see him with Elon Musk? It was sycophantic. Did you see him with now he likes Trump? Remember that Tate degenerate? Remember that one? He fell for him. He really, really, really loves strong, alpha, kind of, sort of men. May I ask you a question? Has he interviewed a woman ever? Sparky says, I don't know either, but it can pick a lot of oranges. Oh, yes, I know that one. That's the old octopus. These are jokes from our. Oh my God. I could go through jokes. I could just do punchlines with you, Sparky, and you would know the one. Okay. And people would say, oh, that's right. No, it's not. It's the joke that's funny. But let me go back to Tucker, Donna. Tucker Carlson has never said anything remotely breathtaking. Never. Who does he have? Who is his last interviewee? That Schleckel, the pharma boy? Another one. Rich guy, kind of, what's the word? Kind of out there. You know what I mean? Tucker loves to talk about what makes men. Testosterone. He loves this talk. No. He's wasted too much time. He's lost it. Elon's not going to do anything with him. Elon's not going to do anything with him. No. He's just kind of floating out there. You know who actually is more important than Tucker? Bill Maher. You can't do I'm going to do a show whenever I want kind of thing. People need regularity, and you got to give them something that they have to understand. And the long form stuff, it's just he appeals to. He's lost his base. He's lost his thing. I'm sorry. I know this bothers you. I know because you love Tucker and you love him. Do you want to do what he wants to do, or do you want to do what I want to do? What I want to do has no interest whatsoever on what is and isn't popular. As you can see, I don't care. There's some things I want to talk about, and I don't care what people think. I can't pretend to be discussing things I don't find interesting. It's like there are some songs. If you're the, oh my God, if you're the, yes, pharma boy. If you, by the way, criminal, he did time, right? He did his time. But why would you talk to him? Because there's something cool about him. He's a cool guy. Everybody's real insight comes out. Trump's got his thing too. Trump has, give you an example. Trump's problem is he's shallow. He likes people with money. He likes pretend showgirl types, for lack of a better word. There's no substance to Trump. I mean, he's a good president. He really is. He's an excellent president. But there's no depth. There's no intellectual. No. I mean, the very fact that he got next to a Dusty Samples or Saddles, or whatever her name is, Stormy Daniel, it just goes to show you this is demented. Anybody who finds a skank like this, a trollop, a skeevy, slimy, bleh, this goes to show you the depth of this man. Trump likes polish. Look at his apartment. Look where he lives. It's gaudy. But that's okay. I don't care. But this is who he is. He wants trapping. There's no depth there. But yet, by the same token, he has this thing where he understands the essence of something, and that's his talent. He understands the essence. The Matthew Ridgway, the general, was like that. He realized real simple things that turned out to be incredible, and which were responsible for saving us in the Korean War. There are certain people who do these things. My friends, you've got to differentiate between your stars that you like. You like them. Oh, I like Tucker. Tucker has nothing to do with politics. He would never, ever be able to do this. Tucker doesn't understand what politics is. Tucker wants to be Tucker. You can't be Tucker and win. Bobby Kennedy is probably psychologically the most troubled of them all. Bobby Kennedy is probably speaking, the most not troubled. That's a bad word. The most complicated, the most Byzantine in terms of who he is. That make any sense to you? This is a guy who is incredible. Let's talk about Bobby Kennedy. At the age of 14 or what, his father is murdered. His uncle was murdered. He's the eldest. He was whacked out of his mind. Rumor always had it that Ethel never did anything with these kids. These people were wild. They're running around and they're just, you're Kennedy, do whatever. I don't know how many there were. You got to lose track. You have personality delusion. You're in these big, this is ridiculous. 11, 10, 12 kids. Wasn't Tucker the useful idiot who drove to Mar-a-Lago to get Trump on board with the pandemic? Well, I believe so. And by the way, I love this this is like E.E. Cummings meets Andy Warhol. I like it, Sparky. You do know that Trump did the right thing regarding the vaccine, right? You understand that? Trump did exactly the right thing if you want to be president. Now, if you don't want to be president, you can be Bobby Kennedy. You can be whatever you want. You can be that Dr. Shiva. That's okay. You can say whatever you want. Or you can be on Natural Planet or whatever these other Mercola. I'm not saying anything bad about them. It's okay for them to say that. That's their thing. But to run for president, you're not going to win. During a pandemic, for you to be against the vaccine, what are you, nuts? What are you, crazy? You're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. You can't do that. For the love of God, you cannot do this. Now, what's interesting to note, my friends, is the following. Let me go through a couple of things too. Please do me a favor and forget people who are running for office from people who are your personality friends, people who are famous on TV. Tucker, Joe Rogan. You cannot be serious if you're going to think seriously, honestly, that Tucker Carlson is going to be the anywhere near the Republican Party. No. I mean, it sounds good. Do you think Donald Trump would want Tucker to sit back and say, listen, you're the vice president. You're going to keep your mouth shut, right? Oh, yeah. I'm the president, right? Absolutely. You sure about that, right? Of course. I'm the president. Of course. You're not gonna go, no, 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 no. It's your show. Okay, fine. You don't think this is gonna happen, do you? I mean, think about what you're saying. It's not gonna happen. But let's go back to Bobby. October the 17th was basically the vaccine thing. Okay, he was anti-war, and that was it. Plus, he was kind of a novelty. It's kind of a weird. Anyway, but going back though, this is a guy who used to uh, uh, conquer women, and he's a write down in a book or a list of all. I got her, and I got her, and I got. What kind of a man does that? Come on, are you the only one? I guess so. Well, must mean a lot to you. Maybe you and Tucker should talk about things like keeping track about what is a man. What is a man? Oh, a man's got. See my list? Wow, how many do you have? How many do you have? That's a man. I'm a man. I've got 800 in favor. Is that good? And then he goes out around midlife, and he goes on, and all of a sudden he's doing. There's a guy who's 70 years old who's packing on muscle. Come on, stop it. It's like Tim Scott with his girlfriend. Would you? We've got these little boys out there. Would you please be an adult first? The man part will follow. Nobody's questioning. They want to be a man first. They're questioning not their adulthood, not their intelligence, not their worth, not their validity. They're worried about their masculinity. Again, for the umpteenth time, let it go. What is the matter with us? It's the Fred Ziffel boys. Remember a while back they kept saying the soy boys. It's all they cared about. That there's this group of effeminate incels. But Bobby Kennedy, your father is killed, your uncle is killed, and he gets into drugs, and bless his heart, you should hear. Remember the fellow from Harvard who said he wrote his papers, and same thing with Ted Kennedy. These people, they live in the closeted, not that way, but just protected, you're a Kennedy. Oh, please. And he's got this thing and say, well, Bobby, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Did any of those kids ever do anything? Well, Kathleen was a lieutenant governor of Maryland. Okay, there you go. What else? Well, there's that Rory. She made documentaries. By the way, wouldn't you love to see if you could take the Osmonds and the Kennedys and merge them like a hybrid? What would those teeth look like? Imagine those choppers on those folks. My God, they could eat raisins. They could eat raisinets through a picket fence. My God. There was almost like, Jim. Isn't it funny how people who are so incredibly rich have like the worst teeth? Isn't that weird? Isn't that like Prince Harry? What is this? Like piano keys. What is this? Do you ever think about? I mean, you've got the royal this and the royal that and the royal this. And you think somebody would say, how about some Invisalign? Give it a shot. I mean, come on. Just try to break this xanthodontic thing. Anyway, so there's Bobby. And Bobby did some good stuff. He was a falconer. I think that is as you would say, the coolest thing that he does, but he never promotes it. Be a falconer? Well, I'd walk around all the time, parts of Brooklyn at 3 a.m. with my falcon glove on. Somebody says, give me your money. I don't think my friend's going to like this. If I give him the signal, guess who's coming? Who? My falcon. It's a peregrine. You ever see this? Flies faster than you want to see. I'll show you. This is his perch. He's flying around. I could call him. Would you like me to call him? No. Then get the hell out of here. Okay, I will. Get out of here. Imagine this with some chicken bone on the neck of or the end of a string. Come on, let's go. Come on, Timmy. Here he comes. They come out of nowhere. And if he thinks you're robbing me, he'll poke your eyes out. They pick your eyes out. You sure about this? All right. Bobby comes along and he says, a falconer, I'm into the water. Hey, that's good. Good. I'm into water. I'm into helping the water. Good. I like that. Whatever happened to the environment? Love it. And then came vaccines, autism. That was very good. Now, this was before COVID. And a lot of people started to say, this Bobby's going to be a problem. What do you mean? Well, later on when we have the. What do you mean? When we have the. Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, because we got our buddies in Wuhan, they're going to be releasing that in about another couple of years. And we got to get everything in place. And this guy's screwing things up by putting in people's minds these weird kind of combinations about vaccines and things being bad. Sparky says, knowing that Trump follows self-help author and cartoonist, notably gullible Scott Adams, the deep state used Adams as a useful idiot by telling him that to say on his vidcast to influence Trump. No. But that's good, though. You are very, what I like about you, Sparky? Well, a lot of things, but you are very, very labyrinthine in your thinking. You really love these, and they're going to get this guy to influence Trump. And what? No. Too many working. No, you don't even need to do that. Step by for a minute. But by the way, I like it. Don't tell me. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a great idea. But let me ask you, make sure, have you subscribed? You make sure you subscribe, because sometimes these things get unsubscribed. Are you liking this video? Are you doing it? Are you like alling all? Are you liking alling the video? What does that mean? I have no idea. But my friends, let's talk about complete and total terror when stores close, when food is unavailable. Think that's out of the question? Listen to this. All right, fellow patriot, let's talk about My Patriot Supply, the country's largest preparedness company. And it is more than equipped to stock your shelves in times of emergency. You can ditch the canned vegetables in the box, pasta and the banana chips and the jerky. Their best-selling 3-month food kit provides delicious breakfasts, lunches, and dinners that last up to 25 years. Now, these meals offer over 2,000 calories every day, with a balance of protein and carbs to keep you fed and ready to go in the event of an emergency. Just add water and heat, then eat. Start or strengthen your food supply with this 3-month food kit from My Patriot Supply. So go to preparewithlionel.com to get ready. Preparewithlionel.com. I'm going to say it again. Preparewithlionel.com. Go now. Makes sense to me. Let's talk a little bit about this, because this is, Sparky brings up a great point, and I think it's fascinating. I think it's something that we need to review, because you got to look at what is it that makes people who they are. What is it? For you not to understand what made Teddy Roosevelt who Teddy Roosevelt was to miss the point completely. Bobby Kennedy wasn't a problem. COVID kind of was the problem. The vaccine kind of was the problem. Well, let me tell you what happened. One night, Bobby was talking too much shite. Bobby's got a big mouth. Bobby thinks the world is smart. Bobby, and by the way, we'll get to this moment. Bobby was talking some smack. What was it? Tony's the Napoli? He was up there. I think it was. Anyway, he was, And it's the Upper East Side. It was an Italian restaurant, and he was there. And he thought he had Chatham rules. I thought it was Chatham rules. Stop it. People can't spell Chatham, much less where whatever you say can't be attributed to you. And he talked about something which is not at all far-fetched, the idea of somehow vaccines or whatever being targeted to a specific group of people, a particular ethnicity, to either hurt, harm, or to target people based upon their ethnicity, either Ashkenazi Jews or whatever. Absolutely, positively. And they're suggesting it now. They're suggesting this has been going on for the longest time, that once you have a huge sample of people, as we have from these maroons who are involved in this lunacy involving, hey, let me send up my what am I trying to say? Let me send my blood, my buccal cells to this 123andMe. So, hey, look, I'm Scandinavian. You idiot. What are you doing? Sparky says modern tech enables conspiracies previously too elaborate. Ah, yes. By the way, remember conspiracy theories versus conspiracy facts. All conspiracy theories, this word, I've talked about this a million times, is a misuse of basically suspicion or what have you. But you're absolutely correct about that. So here comes Bobby Kennedy. Bobby Kennedy does his thing, and all of a sudden, Bobby Kennedy loves being Bobby Kennedy. He is a rock star. And I saw it. So help me when I tell. So anyway, so he was talking about this thing about Jews and Ashkenazis maybe being targeted, blah blah blah. And somebody says this is anti-Semitic. Now, first of all, Bobby should have said it's not anti-Semitic, does it? Move on. I'm not going to be this trained poodle that every time you say something, I'm going to jump. It's not anti-Semitic. It's stupid. Don't even talk about it. But no, he gets Shmuley Boteach. Now, let me tell you about Shmuley. Shmuley is laser smart. Shmuley has been debating people. He's an operator. He's a sharp guy. He's a media darling. He will, if you get into Shmuley's world, understand something. It helps Shmuley, but it ain't going to help you. Remember that. What I mean by that is there are some folks who, when you have him on, you basically he will use you. And I don't mean this in a negative way. It's true. Shmuley is 100% Shmuley. He has been this. He is the most indefatigable, loyal advocate of Israel anybody's ever known. But he also has more enemies than you can imagine. And he knows it and he loves it. And that's part of the deal. For you to enter his world, you inherit his enemies. You ready for that? If you don't know that, I don't know what to tell you. If you don't know that, I don't know what to tell you. It's like, for example, if you are doing a talk show and you have the wrong person on, you are going to be taking all their baggage, and now you're going to be somehow endorsing them. I know how these people work, especially today. If you interview somebody, they will consider you somehow basically validating or endorsing, ratifying the particular word of these people. This is the way they work. So anyway, so Bobby Kennedy did this. He said, I am not an anti-Semite. Should have let it go. Nobody's going to pursue it. But no, Bobby had to go the extra mile. And he brings Shmuley Boteach, okay? America's rabbi. By the way, please see Shmuley not only eviscerate junk yogurt, but basically allow junk to self-destruct. It's one of the saddest things anybody's ever seen. One of the saddest things anybody has ever seen. It was absolutely just horrid. Okay, now, make a long story short, what are we talking about here? Well, a couple of things. First, and this is important. First, the most important thing of anything. Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. Hang on a minute. Hang on just a minute. Sparky's got a good point here. Bobby's a quick study, so he can wing it with a last-second briefing, but he may depend on it too much, leaving him vulnerable in the bias of who briefs him. Ah, touche, turtle, absolutely. Because what happened was, this is great. That is, Bobby just, but let me go through this again. So Bobby had Shmuley Boteach, and we went and saw him at this place called the Glass House on 11th Avenue. You should have seen these women. I swear. Please, I'm not trying to be cruel, okay? I'm just telling you exactly what I saw. I want you to imagine you have a movie, and I said, I want you to give me somebody who looks like a fallen woman, what we'll call, a terrible word, a MILF, some cougar, predator, 40-ish woman desperately needing validation, dressing inappropriately, a lot of plastic surgery, a kind of a Joan Blondell meets Dusty Saddles, kind of one of these types. Somebody you would not bring home to meet your mother. Somebody who just basically is a groupie for the Spanx set. You know what I mean? I don't mean to be cruel, but there's something sad when a young woman is acting like this. Okay, what? When a woman who's in her 40s, and I see this sometimes, I say, would you stop it? Would you stop it? You act as though you're this this goddess. You're acting like a damn fool. You're almost a grandmother. Stop it. Be your act. Oh, yeah. Make a long story short, I saw this. They were there in the front row, just basically trying to get his attention. It was the weirdest thing. Now, Bobby, who's had some tough life, hell yeah, one wife commits suicide. I don't know anything about that. But one tragedy after another. And you've got a guy who keeps track. Well, let me tell you something, Cheryl, whatever your name is, the wife, be careful because he's out on the road and he needs constant validation. Why? By virtue of his past. He's like one of these people, almost like a Tucker. He needs his own thing, his own. This is what I need. It's not enough just to go out there and be correct about, COVID, this and this study and that study. I've got it. I'm Bobby Kennedy, and I can see it. Now, he was very cool. Didn't do anything, talk to anybody. But let me also tell you, if you don't think they're going to set this guy up or already have and caught him, you're out of your mind. His security detail must say, Bobby, you got to understand something. From Epstein on down to Matahari to whatever, there have been people like you. They have your psychological profile figured out, and they have got you. They know about you. They know about Tim Scott. They know about everything. They know everybody. Lindsey Graham, Ron DeSantis, they know things. And people pick up on this. People are weird about this. One of the things that hurts Ron DeSantis the most is all this talk about him wearing lifts and his cowboy boots. Now, you may laugh at that. You may say, that's stupid. You know why that matters to people? Because they can understand it. So anyway, make a long story short, here comes Smoothie, and Bobby goes on this road trip, extolling the virtues of everything and anything Israel. I'm telling you politically. At the time, I was like, okay, I thought it was excessive, but what are you going to do? Bobby, all you got to do is you got to learn how to tell people, no, that's not true. And then they're going to call you racist next. Who are you going to get next? You're going to get somebody else? You're going to get the Shmuley Botiak of negritude, the black Shmuley? Is that what you're going to do? You're going to get him? And then somebody, you're an Islamophobe. Then you're going to get an imam. You're going to get him on? When does this stop? They're going to play you. You got to learn how to tell people that's not true and move on. Enough is enough is enough is enough is enough. And that night we saw it. Every now and then somebody would stand up and yell and scream about Palestine. It's like, I thought, are you out of your mind? What are you doing? You're running for president. They're going to clobber him. So here's the punchline. Do you think he's going to help Trump or help Gavin Newsom? And they're even now saying, do you think Gavin Newsom could be the spoiler? Do you see why they're letting... They are so bad right now. Joe Biden can't even put a wreath. Joe Biden is so bad he can't stand and say, Joe, just go like this. Put the wreath. Hand him the wreath. That's it. Stand there. You think Jill or whatever will be right next to him. Don't move. Remember how Hillary had that Secret Service, that doctor, this that caregiver who had the benzo pen next to her? Remember that one? Come on. For the love of God, please, I beg you, learn politics, learn the game. They're going to just say, anybody, they're just going to run all of your Israel stuff. That's it. Now, again, people who were listening to me, people who were friends of mine who were very pro-Israel, fine. They don't get it. They're saying, well, what's wrong with that? It's like, no, not now. What was it, people on Capitol Hill? Honey, they left wearing masks. When was this? End of last week. Congressional staffers walking out in support of Palestine or Hamas or both. And yet what's happening? The Post and the National Review. This is horrible. Get with the program. There are things that when you run for office, you never say. I'm kind of changing my mind on the death penalty only because nothing else is working. But I wouldn't go out and bring up the death penalty. I wouldn't bring up abortion. If I ran for office, you would never hear me say anything about abortion. Ever. Nothing. I would say nothing about this. Never. Even you would say, well, what's wrong with abortion? No, that's a kiss of death. What are you talking about? So Bobby Kennedy, he's as good as done. He's going to they're going to say, oh, a vote for Kennedy is basically a vote for Trump, for Israel. No way. Politically, it's a different world. October the 7th changed everything. I can't say it enough. The Israel that we knew, we thought it was a military Goliath. Nobody could possibly get near it. It's intel, Mossad. Oh, dear God. It was that. Now, either Mossad is just the worst, or it was a lie-hop. Either they knew it and let it happen on purpose. Now, I intellectually and spiritually and emotionally cannot even imagine that, but it's either one or the other. When you're having makeshift mock cities to plan this stuff, come on. I don't even want to go there. I don't even want to think of it, okay? Everything changed. The ADL used to be, strong, and then they went to this left, kind of like the Southern Poverty, SPLC, Southern Poverty Leader, or Southern Poverty. They went left and woke, and I don't know what happened. But there was a time, I'm telling you, if you were on talk radio and you ever said anything, you said the blood of this Hamas, you would be in Radio Elba. You would never be heard of again. Now, what are they telling Jews in New York? Shelter in place. What? It changed. I'm not asking you anymore. It changed. When did the term women's lib end? When did feminism end? When did Me Too end? Do you see what's happening? I'm not asking you to agree with this. I'm asking you to recognize this. Recognize what is happening. Pay attention to what's happening in the world. Some of the stuff you hear, which is kind of weird. Like, for example, MAGA-dominated state Republican parties plagued by infant. I don't know about that. I'm not so sure about this. You notice how they're going absolutely nuts. They're going nuts on Elon Musk now. They are so afraid of him. It's not even funny. Look at these stories. This follows that show, Morning Show, if you ever watched that. At SpaceX, injuries soar in Musk rush to Mars. Profits ahead of safety. This is the Morning Show on Apple TV. It's exactly the same. You see, interesting how that plot line seems to whatever. Here's something. Feds zero in on texts suggesting New York City mayor fast-track Turkish diplomatic HQ. FBI stopped Adams in the street and seized his phones. Let me tell you something you should know about this Adams guy. He's an idiot. Adams, more probably than not, did nothing deliberately and specifically to deal with Turkey per se. What they did was, who are the people behind that? Who are the people who told, the many people who told Adams, do me a favor, fast track this, get your buddies on the fire department and do all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. Barry Taylor says, when I see people driving around in their car wearing a mask, I'm starting to believe Newsom might have a chance. Creepy. Barry, might have a chance? Are you kidding me? Put your money on Newsom. I can explain to you much easier, and by the way, thank you. I can explain to you much easier why Gavin Newsom is going to win, as I've told you. Sparky says, politicians drove hard into the paint for Israel just after October the 7th, when it would have been prudent to just to be mildly sympathetic, then wait and see. Well, You're correct in hindsight, Sparky. But at the time, who in their right mind would have thought? You would have thought this is the most brutal. Which again, I don't want to go there, but a lot of people were thinking this was somehow a LIHOP deal because it was so obvious it was happening. But I don't. Again, I don't want to go there. But do you grasp? At the time, they said, this is going to change everything. Hamas has done something so horrible, so awful. These scary guys with masks and AKs and Kalashnikovs. This woman, apparently, who is either dead or raped or stunned or in a coma in the back. I mean, the old people, children, stories of decapitation that are so horrific. They made many disbelievers out of it by virtue of the level of horror that was presented as such. It was a horror. And you wonder, do people live like this? Do we share DNA? It was so horrible, so terrible. And people thought, that's it. That disgust lasted 20 minutes. And they went straight for apartheid, open air concentration camps. It was like nothing happened. And it blew people away. They said, wait a minute, what? Wait a minute, wait. What? You're not picking up on this? Nope. We're not picking up on this. This doesn't mean anything. Wow. I never thought this possible. I have never. You don't understand something. Everything's changed. I don't want to say the Jewish lobby. That was a word that was concocted by other people, but it was there isn't, put it this way, everything that this Penn graduate student was saying about the blood of Hamas, if she had stood up and said slavery was great, black people, she would have been done so fast. You would have never seen her again. But yet, not only is she there, but she's allowed to do this. She's cosseted, protected. And frankly, just so that you understand something, on the record, she has a right to say whatever she wants. You can be as hateful and as disgusting as you want, so long as what you're saying only stays as an opinion. The First Amendment is not about nice things. I know that may bother people, but if somebody were to say up and lament the 13th Amendment and harken back to the glory days of slavery, you should be able to say that too. Expect political repercussions from citizens, but not from the government. People act like somehow she should be arrested for saying that. I say, no, we're losing our minds in this. But this is you don't. And believe me, watch what happens in the Capitol when all of those Palestinian protesters were there. Not one person was arrested. You don't think that's not trespassing on government property? You don't think sitting on the ground in the rotunda could somehow be susceptible to a J6-esque form of prosecution? You've got to be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me. Stand by for a moment, my friends. Remember, listen to me carefully. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to these channels. It's very, very important. Make sure you hit that little like button and that little bell so you're notified. But Christmas is around the corner, and you want to talk about centurions of free speech? Let me talk about my good friend and my good friends at MyPillow.com. Let me tell you about my great friends at MyPillow.com. MyPillow.com. And by the way, use promo code Lionel. Use promo code Lionel and receive a free gift. No purchase necessary. And yes, I realize that gifts are free. It's a tautology. Get over it. Sue me. So what are we talking about? How about Giza Dream bed sheets, MyPillow 2.0, sheets, slippers, percales, towels, quilts, bedspreads, mattresses, mattress covers, mattress toppers, linens, kitchen towels, bathrobes, name it. Items to luxuriate and relax. And don't forget, Christmas is just around the corner. And yes, it makes a great stocking stuffer, and it's fine for dad or grad. Made by the greatest company from the greatest people in the greatest country. Or call 800-645-4965 if you're OG, and see how quickly Mike Lindell answers the phone. 800-645-4965. But don't forget, only use promo code Lionel. That's MyPillow.com. Promo code Lionel. MyPillow.com. Promo code Lionel. I know this bothers people to no end, but I would put my money on Gavin Newsom in a heartbeat. Absolutely. Adam is our, I don't know what this means. I'm sorry. Forgive me. I don't know what that means. I don't even want to say it. Oh, I see. Not mariachi. I don't even know. I have no idea. Let me see what this means. Again, I do not know this. All right. Thank you. I'm not sure. I heard somebody today it was so sad. I saw somebody write something, and he wrote, so-and-so passed away. God speed. 2 words. So who knows? What are you going to do with this? Now, let me just leave you with this scenario. If I was promoting Gavin Newsom doesn't have to bring up Israel, Palestine, Gaza, the West Bank, the Green Line, nothing. He doesn't have to. He can talk about it in code. He can say things like, we believe in the principle where people all over the world enjoy basic human rights. And you can fill in the blank. You can think that to be anything you want. Where people have the right to enjoy. And they're going to make Bobby Kennedy eat his words. Now, to show you how bad it is, the people on the right, Victor Davis Hanson, who, by the way, I have such respect for him, but as an example, are going to say, like, well, what's wrong with this? It's like, you don't understand. It's not right or wrong. It's the crowd. This is not the time to say it. You see, a lot of you, my dear friends, have this crazy idea that Trump should have come out against vaccines. You're out of your mind. The world needed his leadership. He did exactly the right thing. But because from your point of view, you say, well, you don't understand it. My friends, my world, yeah, that's your friends. But from their point of view, they don't understand what any of this means. That's all I'm trying to say, my friend. You understand that? All right, dear friends, you have a great day today. Thank you so much. To our good friends, Raul Rodriguez, Sparky, Barry Taylor. Thank you. Donna Lemo. Thank you. And Insidious, thank you as well. I remember politics is one thing. And knowing what to say to gather the right people and to pull them forward and to have them vote your way. It's a very simple thing. You don't say anything that is going to dissuade the voters. That's simple. Now, I've asked you before, and I'm going to ask you again to do me a big and important favor. This is critical. I cannot say this enough to you, and I want you to listen to me carefully. I'm going to give you Mrs. L's YouTube channel. And you are all going to dutifully go and just click this, and you will subscribe forthwith. It is that simple. And my friends, as for my private channel, someone said, well, what do you need a private channel for? Well, let me ask you something. Do you see all of the coded messages that our dear friends like Sparky and others write? Isn't that something in our country? You have to write coded message. There are some things that people do not want you to speak about. And this is one of them. So I can go on my own channel and I can say whatever I want. And I can also refer to stories. And I want to see what does Russia and France and China and India, what do they think about this? What they say may not necessarily be beneficial to America or complementary. Well, so what? The truth is the truth is the truth. That's all I want to be, my friends. Listen, I want you to understand something. There's nothing special about me. There's nothing. It's just the truth. It's what I think is the truth. It may be popular, may not be popular, but it depends on what you want to do. Do you know I was listening to the Beatles, this song Now and Then or whatever it was? It's the most song, but people love it because 27, 28 million YouTube downloads. Okay. Because it's the Beatles. Is it a good song? No, but it's the Beatles. What does that mean? If I have to tell you what the Beatles are, it's a waste of my time. You have to know the way things are. There are certain things that just the way things are. And if you don't want to go into politics, don't. But for somebody to suggest that Tucker Carlson could run for, dear God, no. Are you kidding? Trump would be out of his mind. See, I realize that what I like, other people don't like. I would never open up a vegan restaurant, ever. You just took the whole world and you just zeroed it into this. Most people aren't going to, it's not going to be a big moneymaker. Give me a McDonald's. Give me a KFC. Give me a Popeyes. That's what I want to run. Yeah, but you don't eat there. So what? You never asked me that. What business where do I want to go eat? Or what business do I want to own? That's the story. That's it, period. All right, dear friends. Have a great and a glorious day. Do not ever, ever, ever change. Remember, reality is a bitch. It really is. It's tough. See you tonight at 7 p.m. By the way, I got some other videos. Make sure you go. Make sure you sign up. Watch the videos. Watch them. Listen to me carefully. And as we always say, as to the valedictory, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Da-da.